Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, this is going to be a reading on Todd Blanche. This is Donald Trump's lead attorney in the New York criminal trial. He's got an interesting history or transition, shall we say. A year ago, he was a registered New York Democrat and a partner at Wall Street's oldest law firm, where, as this article says, the nation's corporate elite go for legal help. Now, he lives in Florida as a Republican. He has his own firm, and his biggest client is Donald Trump. He brought his family to Trump's campaign celebration on Super Tuesday. He's set up with a war room over at 40 Wall Street, which is near the courthouse in New York. He also bought a home in Palm Beach. Apparently, they have relatives down there. They were talking about moving to Florida anyway, so serendipity there, right? He was hang on. I say his friends have concerns because he was a prosecutor, and he had a good career going, and he's basically starting his own law firm and having Donald Trump as his client, who's a man known for cycling through lawyers and not paying the bills, as well as being a difficult client to begin with. So his friends wanted to think, why would you do that? But I guess the answer, not from Blanche, but from others, is every defendant is entitled to having a good defense attorney or a good defense put up there. So I guess he's going to be the man who does that. Let's see. What else is this article? Oh, yeah. So he's represented Paul Manafort. He's represented Boris Epstein. He is also represented, what other Trumper? Igor Fruman. This is Lev Parnas's partner. The two guys were associated with Giuliani. So he's pretty deep in all these Trump cases. And from what I understand, he's representing Trump in like 3 of his 4 cases. So, yeah, there's that. He's not known for being confrontational or quote-unquote a fighter, which it's one of those things that Donald Trump likes his lawyers. He likes the Joe Tacopina types that just, rage and carry on. Same thing with Alina Habba, just that stupid childish behavior that he exhibits himself. He wants his lawyers to act the same way. Todd Blanche apparently doesn't do that, but we'll see. In one of these articles, Judge Engeron made it quite clear he wasn't going to deal with dramatic shenanigans and such things like that, badgering witnesses and all that. That doesn't seem to be Todd Blanche's wheelhouse, but let's see how Trump reacts as all that's going on. So, just like my other readings, although this has a longer intro because I didn't know much about Todd Blanche, so I'm going to assume my viewership doesn't know too much about him. Now we know a little bit more about this guy, and I want to find out, what's he all about? What is he feeling right? What's the energy around Todd Blanche right now on, Friday evening, a few days before former President Trump is put on trial for 34 felony counts. Entertainment purposes only. What do we got? Judgment. Well, Judgment Day is here. I'm going to assume that any hopes of delaying this case have they're gone. And now it's judgment time. But this could also be he's testing himself. This could also be that his performance here is really going to define his career going forward. Now, if you were to look at my viewership, we are not the normal demographics of the rest of the country. Because there aren't going to be many Trumpers here. And, he's allowed adequate defense. The thing is, we have a hard time picturing that because the guy commits multiple felonies a day with impunity and no shame. So how can he keep getting away with it? We want that justice that the other side always says they're the party of law and order. But for whatever reason, they don't want anybody on their side to actually be held accountable. So I doubt anybody here would be hiring Todd Blanche anytime soon. Now, of course, we may not be able to afford him either. But there's a judgment component here, either for himself or with this trial. We'll see how the cards pan out. Crossed with the Two of Coins. And the Page of Pentacles. Okay, to me, this is... if we were talking the court case, I can read this as both the court case, but also his personal life and his decisions. I'll read it as the court case first, but then I'm going to come back and read it as his personal choices. Because for the court case, it's like, okay, how do I get him off on these charges? How do I get these charges reduced? You know, if I could get these charges reduced to misdemeanors, it's a win. They're not felonies, they're misdemeanors. And I think that's going to be his goal, is to try and devalue what's happened here as being a falsification of business records, but not in conducting a second crime. And I read this on one of these articles that so I've got a I'm going to clear my throat. The falsification of business records are misdemeanors. What makes this a felony is that it was done to cover up a second crime. So his goal is to try and disconnect the two actions. That it was never done to cover up a crime. This was, though, this was shady stuff, but, it was to hide it from the wife, which is not a crime, instead of the American public. So that's where he's going to go with this, okay? Now, so he has to get to the jury and then diminish what the charges are to something less and convince them that these lesser charges are there. Now, if I was reading this as a personal reading, it's just kind of, people are going to cast judgment on it because it's like he's degraded his values. And it looks like he did it purely for the pursuit of money. So you can see how these two readings, I'm going to use the same overlay, but I'm going to read them differently depending on what it is. I'm going to read the criminal trial first, though, and then we'll double back. In the past, we've got the Three of Swords, the heartbreak, betrayal. To me, Karen McDougal, Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen type of thing. You've got three witnesses that have been betrayed by Donald Trump. And maybe he's going to try and play this as the reason why these three are testifying is that, they're in cahoots with each other. Forgive me for this. They have one heart, and that heart's been stabbed by Donald Trump. They're in cahoots together to try and bring Trump down because they're each hurt in their own way, and if they combine forces, they can bring him down. And it's like a conspiracy between the three of them. And that's the reason why they were trying to subpoena Jeremy Rosenberg, but they subpoenaed the wrong Jeremy Rosenberg. I don't know if they'll ever get that $15 back. Oh, Lordy. Current situation is the hillbilly brawl, the drunken hillbilly brawl. He's got to muddy the waters. His whole thing is he's got to muddy the waters to show this. He has to show the passion and the fight and stuff like that. This isn't him yelling and screaming in the court. This could be Trump yelling and screaming in the court. But because he's apparently not a drama queen. So now he's got to raise the energy in the court and cause confusion. You don't know who started this fight, right? You look at these five guys, they're drunk, they're beating each other with sticks, a bunch of hillbillies in the trailer park beating the crap out of each other. When the cops roll up, who are they going to arrest? All of them. Why? Because they're all fighting. Are they going to arrest the one guy who started it? No. Why not? Because there's going to be 5 different stories. And instead of getting the one guy nailing him with a felony for assault and battery, they'll charge all 5 with disturbing the peace because they can prove that. So that's where he's going with this. Okay, you see how that's working there. Now, you see how that's working. That doesn't mean you have to like it. That doesn't mean you have to agree with it. But understand that's the strategy that's coming on here. Overarching energy is the King of Swords. Interestingly, this is only his second case as a defense attorney. He is a prosecutor. He's been a prosecutor for most of his career. So when he looks at this case, he's not looking at it through the lens of a defense attorney. He's looking at it through the lens of a prosecutor. And so he's looking at it from a lens of prosecutors, like, what would cause a prosecutor problems? And then he's doing that. Or more to the point, if I were a prosecutor, how would I attack these three witnesses to get them shown to be guilty of their crimes? So he's not attacking this as a defense attorney. He's attacking it as a prosecutor. And that's going to make the attacks more sharp, but it doesn't mean they're going to be effective. Because remember, defense would be like having a shield and armor to protect you from the pokes and the stabs coming at you. A prosecutor is the one doing the attacking, doing the poking and the stabbing. So he's taking the cook from Alice's advice. The best defense is a good offense. So I think that's why Trump likes him, because he's not going to go on the defense. He's going to go on the offense, because that's how he thinks. The lesson to be learned is the Ace of Cups. Interesting. He's got to attack this with some passion, but he needs to show that these three folks, the three main witnesses in the defense, the Weissenberg, he's not in there, the Michael Cohen, the Stormy Daniels, Stephanie Clifford, and the Karen McDougalls are all doing this because they're angry and hurt, because they've all been rejected by Donald Trump. That's how he's going to try and put this. Their emotions got the better of him. Or maybe even say Donald Trump's passions got the better of him, but it was never to cover up a second crime. It was just, now he's scared of Melania. Right? Oh no. Oh no. The outcome's the Sun card. So he's going to want them to see this as the truth. The reason I'm saying oh no is this is a mantra I probably say every night before I go to bed. The truth is not the friends of Republicans or Donald Trump. The truth is not a friend of those who lie and steal and cheat and try to deceive. The truth is going to be out there. Maybe in this spread, he's trying to convince them that what the story he's saying is true. I'm not convinced. Now, let's look at this from an emotional point of view. It's like he's going to be judged for taking this case. It looks like his values have flip-flopped. Democrat to a Republican, living in New York to Florida. He's going to Trump inaugurations. This is a person that's, again, they've been indicted for 90 felonies. Why would you associate with them? And when he speaks, now, again, from a prosecutor's point of view, when the guy speaks, there are verifiable lies going all the way back to the crowd size on Sean Spicer telling us about crowd sizes. And then all the lies that happened after that. The thousands of lies while he was the president of the United States. Why would you do that to yourself? What would possess you to put yourself in that position? Lower your values. Is it simply just money? Now, again, Donald Trump can do things to people, which is just the most amazing thing. He can do things to people and get them to do things that would break the law. Making attorneys get attorneys. That's what MAGA stands for. And he's really running the risk of people their opinion of him is going to be diminished from this case because it looks like he's doing it for the money. And apparently his law firm has made $3 million from this trial alone. Plus he got paid $500,000 for defending Epstein or Manafort. So he's been making some bank from the Save America PAC, who's been paying all these legal bills. In the past, the Three of Swords, betrayal, heartbreak. The law firm he was working at, again, defended Epstein, not Epstein, the child molester, Boris Epstein, who's a lawyer that's a MAGA person and has been part of Trump's orbit, especially, I believe, with the fake electors. Probably is involved with January 6th at all. Manafort, former campaign manager and Russian shill for oligarchs and such. And Igor Fruman, who again was with Giuliani and tried to dig up dirt on Hunter Biden in Ukraine. He's represented all those people, and his law firm was okay letting him do that. But when he came to that law firm saying he wanted to represent Trump, the law firm said, no, I don't think so. That's a bridge too far even for us. So he struck out on his own. So I think he feels like he was betrayed by the law firm that he was on. So he went out on his own. Maybe to go out there and teach him a lesson that he knows better than they do. And he'll make some bank on the process. This could also be his family or his friends that are just saying, what are you doing? No, 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 no. Do not do this. I guarantee you, once he's taken on this case, his life is just pandemonium every day. You never know what you're going to walk into. This representing Donald Trump and his ilk is not a 9-to-5 job. It is fire, stamping out fire to fire to fire. The only way you could make Donald Trump a 9-to-5 job literally would be to tie his hands behind his back and remove his phone and ball gag him. So he can't speak. He can't do anything with his hands. He can't go onto social media and stir up problems. You might have to tie him to a chair. I mean, literally, the man is a chaos agent, and that's just what he does. And I'm sure this guy's had, this lawyer, Blanche, has had no peace since there. It's like he has an axe to grind. He wants to prove that he is like the best lawyer in the world out there. But I don't think this heartbreak and this Ace of Cups, it might be, this is like ego. This is an ego thing for him. And people say he doesn't have a big ego. He's not really egotistical. Maybe he is. And he's about to find out a lot about himself in this case. Because, again, one of the things Donald Trump does is he uses people's ego to eat away at their morals and their ethics. This man has to decide where his values are. Because his morals and ethics are going to be challenged by this case and by representing Trump. So that's, kind of the take of where he is on this case, kind of what his strategy is, and almost like what's going on with him, and maybe even like a little spiritual crisis that he's going to endure because of this. Again, anybody involved in this trial, they're not a minor player in the future of the United States. When their souls came down here, they chose major roles. All right. How will Todd Blanche manage as a defense attorney for Trump? How well will he manage this case? Tell me a little bit about, we have an idea kind of what his strategy is. How effective is he going to be about implementing it? or tell me a little bit about this case, his interaction, just sort of a general reading on the trial itself. Hanged Man. Major Arcana. It's hard not to go straight to the, dude, you're going to sacrifice yourself. You're sacrificing your career here. He's going to try and get the jury to see things his way. Look at this case through a different lens. The lens of a normal person. Like, I was scared of my wife. I've crossed my legs because I was lying type of thing. When my wife asked me where I was that night, and she asked me if I was out with a porn star raping her, and I said, "Oh no, honey, I was golfing." Whatever. Yeah. He's got to paint Donald Trump in a new light. Good luck with you. I mean, it's like the eclipse. Like, the head has to eclipse the sun, and the head's not big enough to eclipse it. It's also like a halo. Oh, he's an innocent man. All sorts of fun symbolism in this. And then there's the sun card. Like I said, this is not a card that is the friend of liars, deceivers, Donald Trump and the Republicans here. Oh, God. He has to be really, really careful about how he does this, because people are going to see Trump for who he is. This is truth. He's going to try and give them alternative facts, different truths. He's going to have to try and get them to believe that up is down, left is right, black is white, that type of thing. Good luck. Underneath it all, he feels like he's got a fighting chance. Maybe he gets some people on the jury that he thinks he can work with. And again, also, his goal ultimately is to get people to think that it's not a felony, it's merely a misdemeanor. Well, we won't argue the facts about the business records. We're going to give those up. All we're going to fight on is that he wasn't covering up a second crime. And with that, he thinks he's got a fighting chance. In the past, the Eight of Wands, Trump just put up an email from Stormy Daniels saying, "Oh, I never had an affair with him." But she's like, "I recanted that. I was forced to sign that. I was as part of a non-disclosure agreement." I think this is more of a challenge here. The challenge is there is so much information, social media information, documents, everything along those lines that's linking Trump certainly to the business records. He's not, as I was saying, I don't think he's going to fight that. He's not going to fight the business records. What he's going to, he has to take that messaging and somehow turn that messaging into Trump being scared of Melania. And that might work with a few jurors. A few jurors might want to believe that and might want to hold out for just misdemeanors as opposed to felonies. And if they can't get him on the felonies, I imagine maybe one of the jury questions is, can we convict him of misdemeanors instead? And I don't know if the judge will allow that. And if the judge does, that could happen. If the judge doesn't, well, he could be convicted or it could be a hung jury. But also, there's stories out there from Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal about about what happened. But this is also the Access Hollywood tape and the knowledge that the Access Hollywood tape is out there. And the timing of that messaging, the timing of this event, the payments and such, it's pretty damning. That's the other thing he has to overcome, is that little inconvenient bit of messaging. As the trial's going on, something's going to go down. Whether Trump gets sick or Trump tries to fire his attorneys or the jury's just not having it. Something's... As this trial goes forward... Now, we got 3 major arcana here at this point. I don't think this defense is going to work. And I think he realizes it fairly early on in the trial that this defense isn't working. People aren't buying it. I don't know what his fallback position would be, though. Unless he thinks he's taking down the government's case. But you've got a victory over here. People paying attention. Maybe they could just look at this tower if I reevaluate. This tower is just trying to take Trump and Trump Tower down. And he's looking for a victory here. Problem is, everything Trump does is visible. So it's hard. No, the low energy of the Six of Wands is the egotistical, look at me, aren't I wonderful? I won the election in 2020 type of vibe. In this case, 2016. Ooh, that's the problem. Okay, we're looking at this as, he's trying to convince folks that maybe Trump would have won the election anyways if this information came out. But the tower is, if this information came out, Trump's campaign was done in 2016. That's what this is. But he won the election. And these women got paid. This is a real inconvenient truth here. This would have been damning for any candidate. Trump won the election because these women got paid. These women didn't get paid, and this information got out. And Stormy Daniels was planning on coming out with that information. So something had to be done. Outcome, Ace of Cups. Oh, well. But also, this is the Melania home with the baby. Mommy's home with the baby. So there's those competing stories. This would have cost him the election that he won, and because these women got paid. He has to try and convince them that he was scared his marriage was going to end. And by successfully paying off these women, he wasn't going to upset his wife with her newborn baby. And he just did it because he was scared of Melania. Stephanie Grisham. I just read a story today. This is a Trump spokesperson who is no longer a Trump spokesperson, if you know what I mean. She basically said that knowing Melania as she knows her, that Melania is going to want Donald to fight this, just like the E. Jean Carroll. Matter of fact, when I read the story, I thought I was reading the E. Jean Carroll story all over again. She wants Donald to fight this. She's humiliated and wants this story to end. And I know a lot of you say, Melania's a whore and she's a call girl and she just married him for his money. I don't know what Melania did before she met Donald. I guess she was in the employ of somebody who liked models and dating services and threw her Donald Trump's way. Some think she's a Putin agent. Whatever. The vibe I keep getting from this is that, and people are like, it's a business, it's not a marriage. Maybe now it is, but maybe back then it wasn't. Mom with a baby, with this alleged billionaire husband. I don't know how long they were together before that. Now, and certainly maybe his wealth. Yeah, he wasn't going to get her without the money. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean she's not human. That doesn't mean she doesn't have feelings, and that this wouldn't be humiliating as all get out to her. Just saying. And, Trump might have tried to play that she would be really humiliated if that information got out. That's why he was scared. So he has to play on people's emotions, the jury's emotions, that Ace of Cups at the end there. Challenge card. I think it's a challenge reading here. How is the jury going to look at Blanche's case versus Alvin Bragg's? Or at least how is Blanche going to view it? I don't know how the jury is. I want to save the jury one until the court case is going to the jury. But from Blanche's point of view, how effective does he think he was with the jury compared to Alvin Bragg? Temperance. Yeah, it's kind of a wait and see for Trump and John Blanche. Yeah, they're gonna portray it as, either she's a gold digger, Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels are gold diggers, and that Trump was afraid of upsetting his very wealthy wife. Oh yeah, the heartbreak and the betrayal for having an extramarital affair, because he's only had extramarital affairs on all his wives. Melania is home with the baby. Oh, we can't do that to her. She was going to divorce me and take me for all my money. Yeah, this has got to be his strategy for getting these charges lowered down to misdemeanor levels. And maybe if you get the judge to allow, I don't know if the judge is going to allow for these charges to be made less. You see how we got the cups going from the high cup to the low cup, the high coin to the low coin. He's got to present this as all done to protect Melania and Donald Trump's marriage. Which would be really funny if it ends up getting divorced, because then that would actually support the defense. And we all know Melania's ready to divorce him. Oh, see, there you go. Melania divorces Trump during the trial to help bolster Donald's defense that if this information got out, then his wife would leave him. It's genius. It might come true. But I don't know if that'll save him from some felonies. Alvin Bragg, fighting with advantage. They've got the advantage on here. Because they've got the money, they've got the records, and they've got testimony. Big money involved here. There's your passion and stuff like that. They're going to explain about who Trump is and what he does. Look at the aces over here. Aces about relationships and coins. I assure you, Michael Cohen was more worried about Melania's feelings than Donald Trump was ever worried about Melania's feelings. The thing is, can Michael Cohen convince the jury that? Strength card. Wow. A pair of aces and a major arcana. Alvin Bragg's got a really strong case. He's got a really strong case. Oh, look at that. The Page of Pentacles underneath. Again. Who's the jury going to believe? Who's got the more believable story? Ace, major arcana, 4 minor arcana. I think that some people will be sympathetic to Donald Trump's situation. Here's how I'm reading it. Some people are going to be sympathetic to Donald Trump's situation. But I think the evidence that the prosecution puts on is so strong that they have to kind of understand that maybe both things were true. I don't think they were, because I don't think Trump is scared. Well, I think he is scared of Melania. And I think that if he got caught cheating on Melania, he would be scared of her, not because she was going to divorce him, but she might kick the living bejesus out of him. And shame him. It sounds like he can't be shamed. He can be humiliated. He doesn't like being humiliated. Versus he did it. We know he did it. Here's all the financial crimes. And it was done because he knew if this happened, not only would he be in trouble with his wife, but he would lose the election. Because the evangelicals wouldn't support him. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Evangelicals, because then they look like the chalice that they give you the bread at Catholic churches. Yeah, they're going to make the connection between the money, the evangelicals, the election, and everything along those lines. In looking at this, it looks like Alvin Bragg's case is going to be way more solid. I would be surprised if Trump does not get convicted on the 34 counts. Whether or not it's appealable and he wins the appeal, I'm not sure. I would just say, though, that the prosecution is going to make a very strong case that will connect the affairs, the payments of the affairs as a way to prevent the information from coming out and impacting the election results. Yeah, and oh yeah, by the way, Melania would not be happy about it either. And maybe Melania, in all her being magnanimous, will divorce Donald Trump after this trial to prove that his defense was right, that when she found out what he did was true, that Melania would be bad and maybe leave him, would be mad and probably leave him. And she has got a perfect excuse now to do it. My husband betrayed me. I'm not sticking around with a false husband. I'm out of here. Bye. See, she's got an out, and she's almost a victim. We all know she's not, but she can present it as she's a victim. And then, like, all the Trumpers will leave her alone because it's like they'll be mad that she's leaving, but they'll be like, well, yeah, he did sleep with a porn star while she was pregnant, and she's mad about that, so she's kind of justified in leaving. It's an incredible out for her. The timing couldn't be better. Barron's out of high school. Trump's losing money. He's going to be going to prison. He's probably going to have his health event, and she doesn't want to have to change his drool cup and change his diaper. So time for Melania to go free and have a summer in Europe and rethink her life and maybe start a new life with a new billionaire on his yacht in the Mediterranean. What could be better? And then John Blanche. Oh, let's ask. How will John Blanche be viewed after this trial is done? Get so locked into the trial, you forgot this was a John Blanche reading, not a Donald Trump thing. I think actually, as a lawyer goes, he probably does a pretty good job. The thing is, he's not a defense attorney, so he's not poking enough holes or not shoring up the defenses. He's trying to poke holes in the prosecution, as opposed to shielding his client. Basically, if he had just said, my client's a freaking pig who loves beautiful women and cheats on all his wives, and that's, lean into Donald Trump's 7 deadly sins, he could probably get away with it. And honestly, that's what I hate to say it, but that's what a good defense attorney would do in this situation. My client is a pig. He's a wretched, horrible human being who will sleep with anything that walks. But it wasn't because he didn't want to cover up this crime. That's how you win it. And he won't do it. Trump wouldn't want him to do that. So instead he's going to try and get into a dueling match with Alvin Bragg. And I don't think he's going to win that. What's Blanche's reputation going to be like after he's done with this? It's a four-carder here. 7 of Ron's. He's got more cases to fight with them. So I don't think Trump's going to fire him. He probably, he put on a pretty good defense. Oh, this card is upside down. My deck is upside down, that's why. He'll probably have more opportunities. Or he might look at it, it's like, I've made enough money off of this guy. Do I want to continue fighting for him? God, okay, so my deck is all screwy here. If my cards are up, I'm gonna have to fix it afterwards. Heartbreak, betrayal. Again, I try not to. For those newer to my channel, I try not to read reversals. I certainly could read reversals on this one, because I would try to put the cards back in the same way all the time. And both that 7 of Wands and that 7 of Coins are coming up reversed. If I read those as reversed, it's he didn't put on a good enough defense. I don't think he's going to be hired as a defense attorney anytime soon. And if that 7 of Coins is upside down, he's really going to wonder if it's worth the money. It may not be worth the money, or I've made enough money, or I might be, like, Trump may not pay him anymore. That type of thing. So that he now has to stop defending Trump in order to collect his retainer. Maybe the Save America PAC stops funding him. Yeah, I think I think two things are going on. If we read these as the reversals they came out, even this was a reversal. But still, in the low energy, I don't think he's a good defense attorney. He did an okay job, but he's too much of a prosecutor to be a good defense attorney. The money's not worth it, or he may not be getting paid. He might get betrayed. No, he's told that he's going to get paid. Or even supposed to be on these 3 cases, but since he didn't win this one, he's not going to be on those cases, so the money goes away, and somebody's making a decision for him. Maybe he makes the decision, like, you know, this isn't worth it. I've got my career to think about here with the Knight of Wands. There's a lot of action, a lot of energy coming through here. I think, again, he thinks he did a good job. He put on a good case, but he lost. And, you know, if you... Not that he ever had a real chance to win this one, but he was trying to diminish it, and he wasn't successful. And Donald Trump doesn't like losers, and he doesn't like losing. The only argument that he's going to make to keep his job is that if we can win this on appeal. We lost this case, but we can win on appeal, and that's part of the plan. It's going to cost you some more money, though. And I think we can win on the appeal. So how does he think he's done? Again, I think he thinks he did a pretty good job on the case. I don't know. Oh, that's 7 of Wands. Trump likes fighters. And he's going to look at that's it. Trump, he's going to do a decent job. But Trump likes fighters, and this guy isn't a fighter. So Trump's going to want somebody who's more fiery and passionate. So he could keep Blanche on and bring somebody, you know, again, a Joe Tacopino-ish lead investigator and keep Blanche on for a while as an advisor or something like that, or, you know, another lawyer to help out with. Or he could fire Blanche altogether and replace him with a different attorney that's more his fiery style. Because he'll blame Blanche for not being angry enough, not Ace of Cups enough to get the jury to vote in his favor. Wow. Welcome to the end of the video. Thank you very much for supporting my channel and watching these videos all the way to the end. Thank you for your likes, shares, comments, and everything you do to help feed the YouTube algorithm so that these videos make it out to a wider audience. To folks watching this channel for the first time or recently, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you found us. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.